And how is life with Nick and Katie?
Yeah, good. Getting lots and lots of election spam.
There's an election?
Yeah, it's Scottish Parliament elections coming up.
Cool.
Excuse me one sec.
Wild Katie appears.
Hello, darling.
Hello. I would just like to take a moment to admire your hair.
It's got little curls.
Yeah,
Springy.
Spring. 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 That is quite fabulous.
I'm so happy with it.
Good. It suits you. It is a good look.
It's not very professional. Like, I wasn't really good at professional before, but I feel like it's impossible to feel professional with this haircut. Because I just want to go around going, "Nyah!" and getting petted like a spaniel.
Sounds like you're in the wrong profession to me.
I mean, I think there's definitely room in the health world for that.
A professional spaniel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
There are professional spaniels who will work in healthcare. It's a bracken.
Salutations.
And a tiny Rory.
Oh, he's so hello.
Ooh, oh, those short trousers.
Not so tiny now.
They're just joggers that I'm very warm, so I rolled them up.
Hello, Frankie.
You're very warm. Frankie's very hot. We've got a set.
I should warn you, Frankie, we have been listening to watching an episode of a show where the song, the main song is Away, Away with Rum by Gum.
Rum?
Yeah.
Rum.
It's set in the Prohibition. Temperance. It's a big thing.
Don't tell them. I had some rum tonight.
Good work.
Is that it? It was so nice. I love rum. I love it. I love it though. Yeah, but I love it though. It's so good.
You need to make your face like closer to the camera so that we take it all in.
Everybody, listen to me. Listen to me. Do you know what is amazing? Rum.
Frankie, have you ever tried Zama rum?
What? No, wait, what? No. Hello? Hi, Jenny. Hello. No, I haven't.
You came at the right time. It's a fucking expensive African vanilla rum, and it's fucking amazing.
Oh, I love vanilla.
Yeah.
What's it called?
What's it called?
Zama, D-Z-A-M-A.
Oh, that's a really good number of consonants.
Yeah. It's so nice. I mean, it's not like an upper end expensive one, but more expensive than I would personally buy as a student. But my mom has it, so
that sounds very fucking nice.
So did you like have food as well, or is it a primarily rum based menu or?
Did we have food as well? We had food as well. May I, everybody, I know I've just barged in here and started swinging my dick around like King Fog.
Frankie,
But-
Frankie, we came here to listen to you talk about food. Come on.
Oh,
You
yeah,
are here.
Swing that
that's
birthday.
true. Okay, hold on, right, the socks are coming off. I'm taking my socks off because I'm very warm and very full. May I tell you about what I have had for dinner tonight?
Please do.
So we went to a Caribbean restaurant called Caribbean Croft.
Yes.
Croft Caribbean.
Coffee.
Caribbean Croft. It was so good. Oh, they have this rum menu of approximately 500 rums. I'm exaggerating a bit. A bit is how much I'm exaggerating. And we were scrolling through them like crazy rum scrolling creatures. And then we got to they did a rum taster menu, and you could choose 4 rums, and you've got a mixer, and they brought them to you on a little tasting flight. I was like, let's do that one. And so we got 4 different rums. We got a smoked rum, which was called something like Cut to the Smoke, which is not really a joke. That's not like a good pun, but it was a very nice smoked rum. And we had a ginger one that was called Black Ginger Rum, and it was just what it said on the tin. And then we had one that was called Legendario, that was like, it was like rum mixed with cough syrup. It was like kind of sweet and treacly, and I think they make it with raisins somehow. Raisins are involved in the process. Oh God, it was so like thick and dark and golden, and it just slid down your throat like God's own oyster. And then the 4th one was 12 years old, and it was Eldorado, 12-year-old Eldorado Demerara rum. And that was a request from Martin, because he used to drink the 5-year-old one when he was working in Guyana, because he's much cooler than I am. He's led a very cool life. And we had those, and they were amazing. And then the food was all, oh God, we got a starter as a side, and it was this like aubergine stuff, like bits of aubergine and beans, and that doesn't sound exciting, but it was incredible, like smoky and spicy and warm and like deeply savory and kind of meaty, you know, in the way that aubergine and beans can be meaty. And then I had some actual meat because it was my birthday, so I had a meat cheat day, and I got the thing that was like every kind of meat. So it had like belly pork and curried goat and jerk chicken and rice and peas and this like gravy stuff. And Martin got ackee and saltfish, and that was very fucking nice as well, but I think maybe not quite as nice as mine. So I won at dinner. Which is
I mean, it's your
stupid.
birthday. You were going to win at dinner anyways. That's how that works.
You folks. And there was so much of it. And I'm so full. And I might have to take this jumper off. I'm overheating already, and we haven't even got to the intense drama that is going to be involved in this chapter. So I think the top is coming off. So that's been my night. I'm a little bit pissed, but mostly very full. So we'll see how this manifests.
That's a very good vibe to be in, though.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
Yeah,
And Zach and I bought a mattress earlier. We bought a mattress so that we can. Yeah, because he's been sleeping in a soap dish. He didn't realize he's been sleeping in like a soap dish full of bits of bent wire for years. And then I arrived and I was like, no. I said, ba 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 da 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 dee 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 da ba 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 da dee 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 ba 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 beep beep ba. Story time. Story time. Katie, that fringe is fucking adorable.
Thank you.
It's so good. You look very, very good and beautiful, and it was a good choice. You make good decisions.
Thank you.
Also, I love you all, by the way. By the way, just FYI, I don't think I've said that today. I'm so sorry. I love you. Ash!
That's I love you too in Ash speak.
Oh,
Shh. Bean. Little Ash, little pea in a pod.
And a bonus Jonas.
A bonus Jonas! Oh my god!
Happy belated birthday, Jonas.
Thank you.
Ash, wave at the camera if you love story time. Yeah! Yeah! Sideways Ash! Sideways Ash! Okay, sorry, hold on. So, you got distracted, right? I'm going to swipe away from that particular gallery view, but that doesn't do any good because they're all cute. All of the gallery views are fucking cute. What a goddamn nightmare we're living in. Now, everybody, quite enough of this nice time that we've been having. Let's all get our witch knives into each other. So, you ready for the noise? Here comes the noise. Ooh. Penultimate part. The lollipop shoots. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Chapter 7. Susie. Monday, 24th of December. Christmas Eve. 8:30 p.m. Well, there's no pleasing some people. But wasn't it worth it just for the look on her face? That sudden, sorry, stricken pallor, the tremor that goes through her body as she sees herself coming down the stairs. I have to say, it's a good job. Dress, hair, jewellery, everything but her shoes, all reproduced to eerie perfection and worn with just that hint of a smile. Hey, it's like you're twins or something, says Fat Nico with childish delight as he helps himself to more macaroons. Laurent twitches nervously as if caught out in some private fantasy. Of course, people can still tell us apart. You can do so much with glamours, but outright transformation is the stuff of fairy tale. And yet it is uncanny how easily I take to the role. The irony is not lost on Anouk, whose excitement has reached near manic proportions as she flits in and out of the chocolaterie to see the snow, or so she says, but she and I know she is waiting for who. And I guess that the sudden flashes of iridescence in her colours are born not from pleasure, but from an energy that must be discharged or risk burning her up like a paper lantern. Rue is not here. Not yet, at least. And now it is time for Vianne to serve dinner. With some reluctance, she begins. It's early yet, and he may still come. His place is set at the end of the table, and if anyone asks, she will say that this is the place set to honour the dead, an old tradition that echoes the Dia de los Muertos, quite appropriate for this evening's celebration. We begin with an onion soup, as smoky and fragrant as autumn leaves, with croutons and grated Gruyere and a sprinkle of paprika over the top. She serves and watches me throughout, waiting perhaps for me to produce from thin air an even more perfect confection that will cast her effort into the shade. Instead, I eat and talk and smile and compliment the chef, and the chink of crockery goes through her head and she feels slightly dazed, not quite herself. Well, pulque is a mysterious brew, and the punch is liberally spiked with it, courtesy of yours truly, of course in honour of the joyful occasion. As comfort, perhaps, she serves more punch, and the scent of the cloves is like being buried alive, and the taste is like chilies spiced with fire, and she wonders, will it ever end? The second course is sweet foie gras, sliced on thin toast with quinces and figs. It's the snap that gives this dish its charm, like the snap of correctly tempered chocolate. And the foie gras melts so lingeringly in the mouth, as soft as praline truffle. And it is served with a glass of ice-cold sauterne that Anouk disdains, but which Rosette sips in a tiny glass no larger than a thimble, and gives her rare and sunny smile, and signs impatiently for more. The third course is a salmon baked en papillote and served whole with a béarnaise sauce. Alice complains she is nearly full, but Nico shares his plate with her, feeding her titbits and laughing at her minuscule appetite. Then comes the pièce de résistance, the goose, long roasted in a hot oven so that the fat has melted from the skin, leaving it crisp and almost caramelized, and the flesh so tender it slips off the bones like a silk stocking from a lady's leg. Around it there are chestnuts and roast potatoes, all cooked and crackling in the golden fat. Nico makes a sound, half lust, half laughter. I think I just died and went to calorie heaven, he says, attacking a goose leg with relish. You know, I haven't tasted anything this good since my ma died. Compliments to the chef. If I wasn't totally in love with a stick insect here, I'd marry you just like that. And he waves his fork in a cheery way, almost putting out Madame Luzeron's eye in his exuberance. She turns her face away just in time. Vianne smiles. The punch must be taking effect by now, and she is flushed with her success. Thank you, she says, standing up. I'm so glad you're all here tonight, so I can thank you for all the help you've given us. That's rich, I think to myself. Exactly what have they done, I ask. For your custom, support, and friendship, she says, at a time when all of us needed it. She smiles again, perhaps dimly aware now of the chemistries coursing freely through her veins, making her strangely talkative, strangely imprudent and almost reckless, like some much younger Vianne from some other half-forgotten life. I had what you'd call an unstable childhood. It meant I never really settled down. I didn't feel accepted anywhere I went. I always felt like an outsider. But now I've managed to stay here 4 years, and I owe it all to people like you. Yawn, yawn. Speech coming on. I pour myself a glass of punch and catch my little Anouk's eye. She's looking a little restless, I see, perhaps because of Jean-Lou's absence. He must be very ill, poor boy. They think it might have been something he ate. And with a delicate heart like his, anything can be dangerous. A cold, a chill, a cantrip even. Could it be that she feels guilty somehow? Please, Anouk, perish the thought. Why should you feel responsible? As if you're not already alert enough to every little negative. But I can see your colours, dear, and the way you've been looking at my little nativity scene, with its magic circle of 3 standing under the light of electric stars. Speaking of which, we're missing one. Late, as expected, but approaching fast, sneaking up the back streets of the Butte as sly as a fox around a henhouse. His place is still set at the head of the table, plates, glasses, all untouched. Vianne thinks maybe she is a fool. Anouk herself is beginning to think that all her planning and invocations have been for nothing, that even the snow will change nothing, and that nothing is left to keep her here. But there is time yet, as the meal comes to an end, for red wine from the Guerre, for petit cendré rolled in oak wood ash, for fresh unpasteurized cheeses, for old matured cheeses and aged busé and quince paste and walnuts and green almonds and honey. And now Vianne brings out the 13 desserts and the Yule log, thick as a strong man's arm and armoured in inch-thick chocolate. And everyone who thought they might have had enough by now, even Alice, finds just a little more space for a slice, or 2 or 3 in Nico's case. And although the punch is finished at last, Vianne opens a bottle of champagne and we drink a toast. Aux absents. Chapter 8. Anouk. Monday, 24th of December, Christmas Eve, 10:30 p.m. Rosette is getting sleepy now. She's been so good throughout this meal, eating with her fingers, but clean enough, not dribbling much, and talking, well, signing a lot to Alice, who's sitting beside her little chair. She loves Alice's fairy wings, which is good because Alice has brought her a pair of her own, wrapped up under the Christmas tree. Rosette's too little to wait for midnight. She really ought to be in bed by now, and so we thought she could open her presents now. But she stopped right there at the fairy wings, which are purple and silver and kind of cool. In fact, I'm hoping Alice might have brought me a pair, which looks kind of likely from the shape of the package. So now Rosette's a flying monkey, which she thinks is hilarious, and she's crawling all over the place in her purple wings and monkey suit, laughing at Nico from under the table, a chocolate biscuit in her hand. But now it's late, and I'm feeling tired. Where's Rue? Why didn't he come? I can't think about anything else. Not food, not even presents. I'm too wound up. My heart feels like a clockwork toy spinning around, out of control. For a minute, I close my eyes, and there's the scent of coffee now, and the spiced hot chocolate that the maman drinks, and the sound of plates being cleared away. He'll come, I think. He has to come. But it's so late, and he isn't here. Didn't I do everything right? The candles and the sugar and the circle and the blood, the gold and frankincense, the snow. So why isn't he here by now? I don't want to cry. It's Christmas Eve. But it wasn't supposed to be like this. Is this the payoff Susie mentioned? Get rid of Thierry, but at what cost? Then I hear the chimes and I open my eyes. There's someone standing at the door. For a moment, I see him quite clearly, all in black with his red hair loose. But I look again and it isn't Rue. It's Jean-Loup at the door. And the red-haired woman next to him must be his mother, I guess. She's looking kind of sour-faced and embarrassed, but Jean-Loup seems okay. A bit pale, perhaps, but then he always looks pale. I jump out of my chair. You made it! Hooray! Do you feel all right? Never better, he says, grinning. How lame would it be if I missed your party after all the work you've done? Jean-Loup's mother tries to smile. I don't want to intrude, she says, but Jean-Loup insisted. You're welcome, I said. And as Maman and I hurry to find a couple of extra chairs in the kitchen, Jean-Loup puts a hand in his pocket and pulls out something. It looks like a present wrapped in gold paper, but it's small, about the size of a praline. He gives it to Susie. I guess they're not my favourites, after all. She's standing with her back to me, so I don't see her face, or what the little packet contains. But he must have decided to give Susie a chance, and I'm so relieved I could almost cry. Things are really working out. All we need is for Rue to come back, and for Susie to decide to stay. Then she turns and I see her face. And for a second, it doesn't look like Susie at all. Must be a trick of the light, I guess, but just for a moment there, she looked angry. Angry? No, furious. Her eyes like slits, her mouth full of teeth. Her hand clenched so hard around the half-open packet that chocolate oozes out like blood. Well, like I said, it's getting late. My eyes must be playing tricks on me. Because half a second later, she's back again, all smiling and gorgeous in her red dress and red velvet shoes. And I'm just about to ask Jean-Loup what the little package was when the wind chimes ring again and another someone comes in. A tall figure in red and white with a furry hood and a big fake beard. Rue! I yell and I jump to my feet. Rue pulls away the fake beard. Underneath, he's grinning. Rosette is almost at his feet. He picks her up and swings her into the air. A monkey, he says. My favourite. Better still, a flying monkey. I give him a hug. I thought you weren't coming. Well, I'm here. A silence falls. He's standing there, Rosette clinging onto one arm. The room's full of people, but they might as well not be there at all. And although he seems relaxed enough, I can tell from the way he's watching Maman. I look at her through the smoking mirror. She's playing it cool, but her colours are bright. She takes a step forward. We saved you a place. He looks at her. You sure? She nods. And everybody stares at him then, And for a moment, I think maybe he's going to say something, because Rue doesn't like it when people stare. In fact, Rue isn't too comfortable around people at all. But then she takes another step and kisses him softly on the mouth. And he puts down Rosette and holds out his arms. And I don't need the smoking mirror to know. No one could ignore that kiss, or the way they fit together like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, or the light in her eyes as she takes his hand and turns to smile at everyone. Go on, I tell her in my shadow voice. Tell them. Say it. Say it now. And for a second she looks at me. And I know she's got my message somehow. But then she looks round at our circle of friends, and Jean-Lou's mother still standing up and looking like a sucked lemon, and I can see her hesitate. Everyone is watching her, and I know what she's thinking. It's obvious. She's waiting for them to get the look we've seen so many times, the look that says, you don't belong here. You're not one of us. You're different. Around the table, no one speaks. They watch her in silence, all rosy-faced and well-fed, except for Jean-Loup and his mother, of course, who stares at us like we were a den of wolves. There's Nico holding hands with Alice in her fairy wings. Madame Luzeron, incongruous in her twin set and pearls. Madame Pinot in her nun's outfit, looking 20 years younger with her hair undone. Laurent with a gleam in his eye. Richard and Mathieu, Jean-Louis and Paul sharing a smoke, and none of them has the look. And it's her face that changes. It softens somehow, as if a weight has come off her heart. And for the first time since Rosette was born, she really looks like Vianne Rocher. The Vianne who blew into Lansquenet and never cared what anyone said. Susie gives a little smile. Jean-Loup grabs hold of his mother's hand and forces her to sit down on a chair. Laurent's mouth drops open a notch. Madame Pinot goes strawberry pink. And Maman says, folks, I'd like you to meet someone. This is Rue. He's Rosette's father. Chapter 9. Vianne. Monday, 24th of December, Christmas Eve. 10:40 p.m. I hear the collective sigh go round. Something that in different circumstances might have been disapproval, but in this case, after food and wine, mellowed by the season and the unaccustomed glamour of snow, seems like the that follows a particularly spectacular firework. Rue looks wary. Then he grins, accepts a glass of champagne from Madame Luzeron and raises it to all of us. He followed me into the kitchen as the conversation started again. Rosette came with him, still crawling in her monkey suit. And I remember now how fascinated she was the first time he walked into the shop, as if even then she had recognized him. Rue bent down to touch her hair. The resemblance between them was sweetly poignant, like memories and lost time. There are so many things he hasn't seen. When Rosette first held up her head, Her first smile, her animal drawings, the spoon dance that so angered Thierry. But I already know from the look on his face that he'll never blame her for being different, that she will never embarrass him, that he will never compare her to anyone else or ask that she be anything other than herself. "Why did you never tell me?" he said. I hesitated. Which truth should I tell? That I was too afraid, too proud, too stubborn to change? That, like Thierry, I'd been in love with a fantasy that, when it finally came within my grasp, revealed itself to be not gold, but nothing more than wisps of straw? I wanted us to settle down. I wanted us to be ordinary. Ordinary. I told him the rest. Told of our flight from town to town, the fake wedding ring, the change of name, the end of magic, Thierry, the pursuit of acceptance at any cost, even my shadow, even my soul. Rue stayed silent for a while. Then he laughed softly in his throat. All this for a chocolate shop. I shook my head. Not anymore. He always said I tried too hard, cared too much. And now I can see that I didn't care enough for the things that really matter to me. A chocolaterie is, after all, just sand and mortar, stone and glass. It has no heart, no life of its own except for what it takes from us. And when we have given that away... Rue picked up Rosette, who did not squirm as she usually does when approached by a stranger, but gave a silent crow of delight and signed something with both her hands. What did she say? She says you look like a monkey, I said, laughing. From Rosette, that's a compliment. He grinned at that and put his arms around us both. And for a moment we stood entwined, Rosette clinging to his neck, the soft sound of laughter from next door and the scent of chocolate on the air. And then a silence falls over the room, and the wind chimes ring, and the door blows wide, and through the opening I can see another hooded figure, all in red, but bigger, bulkier, and so familiar beneath his false beard that I don't have to see the cigar in his hand. And in the silence, Thierry comes in, with a lurch in his step that speaks of drink. He fixes Rue with a malevolent stare and says, "Who is she?" "She," says Rue. Thierry crosses the room in 3 strides, clipping the Christmas tree in his path and scattering presents over the floor. He thrusts his white-bearded face towards Rue. "You know," he says, "your accomplice, the one who helped you cash my check, the one the bank's got on CCTV, and who by all accounts has ripped off more than one sucker in Paris this year." "I don't have an accomplice," says Rue. "I never cashed your..." And now I can see something in his face, a dawning of something, but it's too late. Thierry grabs him by the arm. They're so close now, reflections in a distorted mirror. Thierry wild-eyed, Rue very pale. "The police know all about her," Thierry says, "but they've never been so close before. She changes her name, see? Works alone. But this time she made a mistake. She hitched up with a loser like you. So who is she? He's shouting now, his face as red as Santa's own. He fixes Rue with his drunken glare. Who the hell is Vianne Rocher? Chapter 10. Susie. Monday, 24th of December, Christmas Eve. 10:55 p.m. Well, isn't that the million-dollar question? Thierry is drunk. I can see that at once. He reeks of beer and cigar smoke, which clings to his Santa Claus costume and that absurdly festive cotton wool beard. Beneath it, his colours are murky and threatening, but I can tell he's in poor shape. Across from him, across from him, Vianne is white as an ice statue, her mouth half open, her eyes ablaze. She shakes her head in helpless denial. She knows Rue would not give her away. And Anouk is speechless, twice stricken, first by the touching little family scene she has glimpsed behind the kitchen door, second by this ugly intrusion when everything seemed so perfect at last. Vianne Rocher. Her voice is blank. That's right, says Thierry, otherwise known as Françoise Laverie, Mercedes Desmoines, Emma Windsor, to name but a few. Behind her, I see Anouk recoil. One of those names has struck a chord. Does it matter? I think not. In fact, I think the game is mine. He fixes her with that measuring stare. He calls you Vianne. Of course, he means Rue. Silently, she shakes her head. You mean you've never heard that name? Once more, she shakes her head and, oh, the look on her face as she sees the trap, sees how neatly she has been manoeuvred to this very point, understands how her only hope is to deny herself for the third time. Behind them, no one is watching Madame. Quiet during the festive meal, speaking mostly to Anouk, she now watches Thierry with an expression of stark and uncomplicated horror. Oh, I have prepared, Madame, of course. With gentle hints, subtle charm, and good old-fashioned chemistry, I have brought her to this moment of revelation, and now all it takes is a single name, and the piñata cracks open like a chestnut on the fire. Vianne Rocher. Well, that's my cue. Smiling, I stand, and I have time for a last quick celebratory sip of champagne before all eyes are upon me. Hopeful, fearful, furious, worshipful, as now at last I claim the prize. I smile. Vianne Rocher? That would be me. Chapter 11. Vianne. Monday, 24th of December, Christmas Eve, 11 p.m. She must have found my papers, of course, hidden in my mother's box. After that, it's easy enough to open an account in my name, to send off for a new passport, a driving license, everything she requires to become Vianne Rocher. She even looks just like me now. Easy again, using Rue as bait, to use my stolen identity in a way that will at some time incriminate us. Oh, I can see the trap now. Too late, as always in stories like this, I understand what she wants at last. To force my hand, to trick me into revealing myself, to blow me away like a leaf on the wind with a new set of furies on my tail. But what's a name? I ask myself. Can't I choose another one? Can't I change it, as I have done so many times before? Call Zosie's bluff and force her to leave? Thierry is staring at her in astonishment. You, he says. She shrugs. Surprised? The others are watching her, stupefied. You stole the money. You cashed the checks. Behind her, Anouk is very pale. Nico says, "It can't be true." Madame Luzeron shakes her head. "But Sosie's our friend," says little Alice, blushing furiously at making even such a short speech. "We owe her so much." Jean-Louis interrupts. "I know a fake when I see one," he says, "and Sosie isn't a fake, I swear." But now Jean-Louis speaks up. "It's true. Her picture was in the newspaper. She's really good at changing her face, but I knew it was her. My photographs." Zosie gives him a barbed smile. "Of course it's true. It's all true. I've had more names than I can count. I've lived from hand to mouth all my life. I've never had a proper home or a family or a business or any of the things Jan has here." And she shoots me a smile like a falling star, and I can't speak, can't move, captivated like the rest of them. The fascination is so intense that I could almost believe I've been drugged. My head feels like a hive of bees. Colours shift around the room, making it spin like a carousel. Rue puts out his arm to steady me. He alone seems not to share in the general feeling of consternation. I'm vaguely aware of Madame Brambo, Jean-Louis' mother, staring at me. Her face is pinched with disapproval beneath the dyed hair. She very clearly wants to leave. And yet she too is mesmerized, caught up in Zosie's narrative. Zosie smiles and carries on. "You might say I'm an adventurer. All my life I've lived on my wits. Gambling, stealing, begging, fraud. I've never known anything else. No friends, no place I liked enough to stay." She pauses, and I can feel the glamour in the air, all incense and sparkling dust. And I know that she can talk them round, can twist them round her little finger. "But here," she says, "I found a home. I found people who like me for who I am. I thought I could reinvent myself here, but old habits die hard. I'm sorry, Thierry. I'll pay you back." And as their voices begin to rise, confused and distressed and wavering, the quiet Madame now faces Thierry. Madame, whose name I don't even know, but whose face is pale now with something she can barely articulate, her eyes like agates in that hard face. "How much does she owe you, monsieur?" she says. "I'll pay it myself, with interest." He stares at her, incredulous. "Why?" he says. Madame straightens up to her full height. It isn't much. Beside Thierry, she looks like a quail facing down a bear. "I'm sure you have a reason to complain," she says in her nasal Paris voice. "But I have good reason to believe that Vianne Rocher, whoever she is far more my concern than yours." "How so?" says Thierry. "I'm her mother," she says. Chapter 12. Susie. Monday, 24th of December, Christmas Eve, 11:05 p.m. And now the silence that has bound her in its icy cocoon splits open in a broken cry. Vianne, no longer pale but flushed with coquet and confusion, now steps out to face Madame in the little semicircle that has gathered around her. A bunch of mistletoe hangs above their heads, and I feel a wild, mad, relentless urge to run up to her and kiss her right there on the mouth. She's so easy to manipulate, like all of them. And now I can almost taste the prize, can feel it in the rhythm of my blood, can hear it like surf on a distant beach, and it tastes so sweet, like chocolate. The sign of one jaguar has many properties. True invisibility is, of course, impossible outside of fairy tales, but the eye and the brain can be fooled in ways that camera and film cannot. And it is easy enough, while their attention is focused on Madame, to creep away, not quite unnoticed, to collect the case I have so neatly packed. Anouk followed, as I knew she would. "Why did you say that?" she demanded. "Why did you say you were Vianne Rocher?" I shrugged. "What do I have to lose? I change my name like my coat, Anouk. I never stay in one place for long. That's the difference between us. I could never live like that. I could never be respectable. I don't care what they think of me, but your mother has so much to lose. There's Rue and Rosette and the shop, of course." "But what about the woman?" she said. So I filled her in on the sorry tale. The child in the car seat, the little cat charm. Turns out Vianne never mentioned it. Can't say I'm really surprised. "But if she knew who her mother was," said Anouk, "then couldn't she have found her again?" "Perhaps she was afraid," I said. "Or perhaps she felt closer to her adopted mother. You choose your family, Nanu. Isn't that what she always says? And perhaps..." I faked a pause. "And what?" I smiled. "People like us are different. We have to stick together, Nanu. We have to choose our family. After all," I told her slyly, "if she can lie to you about this, then how can you be sure you weren't stolen too?" I left her to think about that for a while. In the other room, Madame was still talking, her voice rising and falling in the rhythms of the natural storyteller. She and her daughter have that in common, but it's not the time to hang around. I have my case, my coat, my papers. As always, I travel light. From my pocket, I bring out Anouk's present, a small package wrapped in red. I don't want you to go, Susie. Nanu, I really have no choice. The present gleams among the folds of red tissue paper. It's a bracelet, a slim band made of silver, lustrous and new. By contrast, the single charm that hangs on it is dark with age, a tiny blackened silver cat. She knows what it means. A sob escapes her. Susie, no! I'm sorry, Anouk. Quickly, I cross the deserted kitchen. Plates and glasses neatly stacked along with the remains of the feast. On the stove, a pot of hot chocolate simmers. Its steam is the only sign of life. Try me. Taste me, it implores. It's a small enough glamour, an everyday charm, and Anouk has withstood it for the last 4 years. But all the same, it pays to be safe, and I turn off the heat under the pot as I make my way towards the back door. With one hand, I carry my case. With the other, I cast the sign of Mictecatuatl like a handful of cobwebs in the air. Death and a gift, the essential seduction, more potent by far than chocolate. And now I turn to smile at her. Outside, and the darkness will swallow me whole. The night wind flirts with my red dress. My scarlet shoes are like blood on the snow. Nanu, I say, we've all got a choice. Yan or Vian, Annie or Anouk, changing wind or the hurricane. It's not always easy being like us. If you want easy, you better stay here. But if you want to ride that wind. For a moment, she seems to hesitate. But I already know I've won. I won the moment I took on your name, and with it, the call of the changing wind. You see, Vian, I never meant to stay. I never wanted your chocolaterie. I never wanted any part of the sad little life you've made for yourself. But Anouk, with her gifts, is invaluable. So young and yet so talented, and most of all, so easy to manipulate. We could be in New York by tomorrow, Nanu, or London, or Moscow, or Venice, or even good old Mexico City. There are plenty of conquests waiting out there for Vian Rocher and her daughter Anouk, and won't we both be fabulous? Won't we go through them all like December wind? Anouk is watching me, mesmerized. It all makes so much sense to her now that she wonders why she never saw it before. A fair exchange, a life for a life. And am I not your mother now? Better than life and twice as much fun? Why would you need Yann Charbonneau? Why would you need anyone? But what about Rosette? She protests. Rosette has a family now. A moment while she thinks about that. Yes, Rosette will have a family. Rosette does not need to choose. Rosette has Jan. Rosette has Rue. Another sob escapes her. Please. Come on, Nanu. It's what you want. Magic, adventure, life on the edge. She takes a step, then hesitates. You promise you'll never lie to me. Never have. Never will. Another pause, and the lingering scent of Vian's hot chocolate pulls at me, saying, try me, taste me, in its smoky, plaintive, dying voice. Is that the best you can do, Vian? But Anouk still seems to hesitate. She's looking at my bracelet, at the silver charms that are hanging there. Coffin, shoes, ear of maize, hummingbird, snake, skull, monkey, mouse. She frowns as if she's trying to remember something that's just on the tip of her tongue. And her eyes brim with tears as she looks up at the copper pan cooling on the stove. Try me, taste me. A last sad, fading perfume, like a ghost of childhood on the air. Try me, taste me. A skinned knee, a small damp palm with chocolate dust imprinted into lifeline and heartline. Try me, test me. A memory of both of them lying in bed, a picture book on the blanket between them. Anouk laughing wildly at something Vian said. Once more I cast the scythe of Mictacatuatl, old Lady Death, the gobbler of hearts, like black fireworks into her path. It's getting late. Madame's tale will be done, and very soon they will miss us both. Anouk looks dazed, watching the stove with a look of one half in a dream. Through the smoking mirror, I can now see the cause. A small grey shape sitting by the pan, a blur that might be whiskers, a tail. Well, I ask, are you coming or not?
That was batshit, you.
Zosie,
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my.
Everyone's like, this is this father. I'm actually this person's mother.
I'm
Ah!
drunk and also Santa.
Santa fight? There's gonna be a Santa fight?
Nothing says happy holidays like a Santa fight.
Not a drunk Santa fight.
Is that not what happened in your family?
I'm loving the suggestion that Pontouf is going to save the day.
Pontouf power! Yes, mate! Yes!
I have a question just to maybe someone can clarify it for me. What is it about the mouse that resonates with Anouk? I know it's something to do with Francois Levery, but I'm not sure what the connection is.
Oh, I thought it was that Zosie had said once that her mother said that her spirit animal type thing was a mouse, like her spirit guide, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
I think I was reading it that like Jean-Luc showed Anouk the like clipping about Francoise Lavery, and because Anouk is like a boss witch, she, like, the name Francoise Lavery kind of, there was some sort of general psychic association with a mouse that she was kind of picking up from, like, Zosie in her past and shit. And then when she saw the mouse charm on the bracelet, she was like, wasn't there something about a mouse?
Okay.
Ah, that makes a lot more
The
sense.
mouse charm was her, like, every charm's a life, right? And the mouse one was Francoise. So
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Also, she knows that already, right? She's already admitted to having been Francoise Lavery.
Yeah, I mean, she's admitted to being like Vianne Rocher, who is like, Thierry is like, this is Vianne Rocher, aka Francoise Lavery, etc., etc.
I don't know how I feel about all that. Like, I don't know what those emotions are that I'm having.
Oh, babe.
I think
I'm-
the phrase 11-dimensional chess springs to mind.
So
Aha! I knew that you thought that I would think that you would think.
yeah, there was one very satisfying moment, and I can't quite remember when it was. I think maybe it was when Zosie stood up and was like, Vianne Rocher, that's me, bitches. That I heard Martin over on the sofa go like, oh. He gave some like little kind of gasp of horror and realization and like unwilling kind of impressedness. It was very gratifying.
It's a magnificent way of telling a story, right? Because despite the fact that the entire way through we've known that there's been this dark side of Zosie, you also get dragged along with the whole thing. It's she can't be that bad, surely.
Yeah. Look, she's teaching Anouk how to stand up to bullies. Like, oh, Zosie, you scamp.
Also, how fucking good was Jean-Louis like, oh no, these are my favorite actually.
Yes.
Oh my god, yes.
So
Best
fucking
comeback of the entire book goes to Jean-Luc.
yeah. Oh, it's so good. I'm so delighted to be reading this with you.
Jean-Louis not terrible.
Oh my god, you're right. He's a non.
He's 12, give him time. Give him time, he's 12. He's not a maniac. Has he had a bar mitzvah? Like, it's the barest minimum for that young for being considered a man.
But he's got cool floppy fringe and he's into like black and white photography.
And like proper photography, not that digital shit.
Yeah, exactly. Such a hipster. He's gonna be such a like perfect hipster when he grows up. Yeah.
I just point out that earlier in the book, they were talking about this camera.
Oh, let me see. Hold on. Let me see.
Hipster credentials.
The camera.
Kinda.
And no, it's a twin lens reflex,
Ah.
medium format.
That is so fucking cool. Very quickly, just before we say goodbye to Catch Up Crew, Catch Up Crew and Live Crew, anyone who this is still applicable for, I'm still very much hoping for pictures of people's Storytime setup. I've had some absolutely gorgeous ones sent through, and I'm very, very excited about this Storytime collage. I think this is going to be sort of a project for by the time Storytime finishes, rather than like a birthday thing. But if anybody hasn't sent me a picture of their Storytime setup and would be happy to be on my collage, send me your Storytime setup shots. I want you all on my walls in your.
Do you want just one per person? Because I think the Storytime setup has changed quite a bit for me.
I mean, if you were happy to send me like multiple ones, then I can definitely have you and Jonas and possibly even Ash as like your own separate entries. I think I have 2 for Nick and Katie, so I think Nick and Katie are each getting their own shot on the collage. So yeah, if any kind of multi-story timer households want to send me individual ones, then that is very cool. Yes. Okay. I think that's probably enough of all that. God, I'm so sweaty. This was so tense and like drama, and I'm still so full, and I had that rum, and oh man. Okay, so let's catch up crew. I'm very
Before we say goodbye to the catch-up crew, have we decided on an outfit for tomorrow night yet? Are we dressing up as Jan or as Bina or as Secret Santa?
Just your best shoes.
Frankie.
yeah, I think probably whatever way and whatever moves you. So options include Vian, Bina, Frankie potentially, or just like your best or most fabulous or most favorite shoes.
Pontius, a monkey, Santa.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Like there are a lot of costumes in this last session.
Literally any of the story timers. You can be whoever you want.
Henry the Fourth. Is that me?
Fairy! We could be Alice the fairy and everything, and monkey and yay!
Many options. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm definitely making chocolate mousse. It feels only right to finish with the classic Storytime chocolate mousse. So I think I'm going to get some of that.
Nick refused chocolate mousse, and so instead we're having salted caramel chocolate ganache pots.
Oh,
can you post that recipe?
Yes, I can.
Can we make a recipe post on Storytime so that it's not like
yes.
Because I found like a fabulous recipe for vegan chocolate lava mug cake, which is
that sounds my sweet.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. Okay, as soon as we exit here, or as soon as I exit here, I'm going to blast on over to Storytime and start a recipe, a chocolate recipe thread. So get your chocolate recipes on there, everybody. Okay, I think that's probably catch up crew. Whew. I hope you're as sweaty as I am. Oh no, that's a terrible thing to say. Catch up crew, pretend I didn't say that. Catch up crew, what I mean is, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I and hopefully all of the live crew have. And stay tuned. I'll see you soon. Bye, catch up crew. Bye. Boop, 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 doo, 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 doo. Story time.